Let's say we start off this trick by asking the spectator which deck would they like to actually use first for the trick, and then we will use the deck they don't choose last. So let's say they want to use this deck. So I can hand it over to the spectator, and they can take out the deck and they can give it a shuffle. And when they're done shuffling the deck, they would go through and they would take out any two cards they would like to help them out. So let's say the spectator goes through and they take out, say, the two red queens, but doesn't matter which two they choose. So they can give the deck one more shuffle, but after they're done, they would hand it back, and I would explain to the spectator that I'm going to dribble cards like this, and they're going to call out stop whenever they would like. Say they call out stop here. So now I would ask the spectator, would you like the bottom card of the top half or the top card of the bottom half? Let's say the top card of the bottom half. So to start this off, we would take one of the queens and we can place it right here on top of this bottom half, meaning that we're going to sandwich this card right here. We're going to put it right under that queen, and then we can take this other queen back and leave it here. And we can put the rest of the cards on top, and you can see that queen right there. We can push it in. So we're going to leave these right here, meaning we're going to take the other deck and we need to take out the queens as well. Okay, so there's the queens, and I can also show you that all of the cards here are different and none of them are the same. So we're going to take the queens and we're going to try to get a little bit of magic to happen. So if I rub them over the deck here, I think we have it done. Meaning, when I ripple the deck, now there is one card in between the two red queens. So here's one queen here and one queen here. Let's see the card we have. In this case, the King of Diamonds. Now, you said stop whenever you wanted here. And let's see what we have. One card in between the two red queens. How amazing would it be if this card matched the King of Diamonds? Because you said stop wherever you wanted. Well, one card and one card only is the King of Diamonds for a perfect match. So that is actually going to be the trick. If you would like to learn how to do this, make sure to stick around for the tutorial. Okay, so let's get right into this trick here. So, really quick, in case you are new here and you don't know what deck I'm using, these are actually the Avery playing cards. And I want to say I actually have a review on these. So if I can actually find that deck review, I will leave it down below in the description. But if I can't find my deck review on these, I might go ahead and make a separate video with a deck review on these. But let's get into the trick here. So this is actually a trick from Sean Devine called Mental Mates. And for the effect, he actually used a marked deck. Now, I don't have a marked deck, and I wanted to come up with a way for those of us that don't have a marked deck. So this is actually what I came up with. So there are a few moves you're going to have to know, and there is one move you're going to need to know for the peak. So I might end up making a video on it. Well, let's get straight into this. So you can really have any two decks of cards you want. You just don't want them to be the same color. And in case you're wondering about decks of cards that go together like this, but that aren't the same color. I actually made a video on it already. So I think I titled it something along the lines of decks of cards that come in a 2-pack. So you can buy them like this. So I will leave that down below because any of those decks would work. Even a red and blue bicycle would work. So once you have these decks, you're all set. And you want a full deck for each, okay? So if there's a card you're missing from one deck, take it out of the other deck. So starting off this effect, if it was the original way, you would need to use the mark deck first, but because I'm not going to teach the original way, here's how I do it. So starting off the effect, the spectator can really choose any deck they want to start off. So let's say they choose this deck again. Actually, we'll go with this one. We'll switch it up. So I can hand the deck over to them, and they can give it a mix. When they're done mixing up the deck, either you need to take out a pair of cards or the spectator can. It really doesn't matter how you do it. So let's just say we go with the 2 black kings, but you can really go with any you would like. So after you have the 2 black kings, you're gonna go ahead and the deck can be shuffled again, it doesn't matter. But once you take it back, you explain that you're going to dribble the cards. They're going to call out stop whenever they would like. Okay, so here's where the peak actually comes in, and I call it the dribble peak. It's probably not called that, but here's what I do. So I dribble like this and they call out stop. And I explain you can either have the bottom card of the top half or the top card of the bottom half. I'm going to go over both scenarios, but let's stick with the performance. Let's go with this card. So you explain. Let's go ahead and take one king and let's leave it right on top of this packet, face up. And let's take your card you want and let's place it right underneath that king. And can you go ahead and take this king and place it face up on top of this half? And while they're doing this, here's where your peak comes in. So all you're going to do, because you're still in this position for the dribble, you're just going to bend your thumb up some, and you're going to be able to see this corner of the card. In this case, the 5 of clubs. So now you know the card they have is the 5 of clubs. So when they're putting this card in face up, all I do is I just lift it up slightly towards myself like this, and I can just look and I can see the 5 of clubs. So that's all you're going to do. It's a really easy peek. There's not much to it. So after you peeked at the 5 of clubs, I like to dribble the rest on top, and I sort of like to drop it. And I have the spectator square it up, just so they know I'm not messing with it in any way. Then you can put the deck over to the side. So you're going to grab the next deck, and you explain you're going to do the same thing. So you're going to need the 2 kings, but now you're going to do a different move. So that card you peek, the 5 of clubs, you want to remember because you want it to be on top of the deck at the end or on the bottom of this face-up half. So I go through like this, and while I'm looking for the kings, I'm also looking for that 5 of clubs. So I outjog one. Let me go over this. I wasn't in view. So I go like this, explaining I'm going to take out the 2 red kings, and I also look for that 5. Here's the 5. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to just call it to the top. Now my call probably wasn't the best in the video, but you can take out the cards now, and you just want that 5 on top. I will teach you another method you can do right after I teach you the second way. So in case you don't know how to do the call, I will leave that down below. In case you don't want to use the call, your call isn't good yet, or you just don't like the call, stick around to the end because I'll show you another way. But now what you have is their card on top, okay, and then you have the two kings. So now this is all acting. You explain that you're going to try to use the two kings here to try to get whatever the card is from this packet to end up in between these two kings for this packet. So I take the two kings like this, and I might rub it across like this, and then I can go ahead and tap it. And then once I'm done, without lifting it up again, because now you want them to be convinced that a card is in between the king, because you're going to throw it on top. Okay? So you explain, I think we got one card in between the two black kings, and you really want to sell this, but actually you have the two black kings and then their selection here. So now you're gonna do a move I think is called the signature card switch, signature card move. I think it's by Brother John Hammond, but I could be completely wrong on that. If you check out Sean's video down below, you'll be able to know everything. But I might end up make a video on this someday. So here's what you have. The two black kings and their card. So you're going to start off by holding the cards like this. So you pinch them with your four fingers on the right corner and your thumb on the bottom. You're going to start off by taking this top king and turning it face up on the bottom of the packet and pinching it there. At the same time, you're going to reverse spread these two cards. So when you turn this top king face up, this card in the middle is theirs. Let me go over that again. You hold the cards like this, you come over with these fingers, you turn the card face up on the bottom. At the same time, you just move your thumb out and your fingers in, okay? This card and then this one is their selection. So one more time, I'll go over this. So the top card, you're going to turn face up on the bottom. At the same time, you pull these fingers in, this thumb out, like this. And then it's going to be covered. You have the king here, and then you have the selection there. And that is actually the move. So it might look something like this. So let's see what we have in between the two black kings. So something like that. So after you've done this move, you can explain. Okay, so we have two cards in between the two black kings. Let's see what card we have. In this case, the five of clubs. Now keep in mind for this packet, you could have stopped wherever you wanted. And you even shuffled, but you placed the two kings in between here. How crazy would it be if these two cards matched, if these cards matched? And you have them turn over the card, and it is the five of clubs. So that is actually going to be the first way you can go about this trick, and that is going to be the way I actually perform it. But for now, I'm going to show you another way you can go about this to substitute some of the other moves you may not like, you don't know yet, or they're not up to par yet. So let's just say we have the two black kings, and they call out stop. Okay, now, instead of choosing this card, would they want the card on this packet? Well, what you can do is say, okay, go ahead and pick up one of these kings for me to use. While they're doing that, you're going to go ahead and lift up and get the peak again. In this case, the 10 of clubs. So once they have one of the kings, all I do is I use my fingers here, sort of like the glide, and I slide this card out about halfway, and I say, okay, go ahead and put in one of the kings here, and they're going to be able to place it in right there, okay, which is going to be right above their selection. Then I say, go ahead and take that other king, and you can either place it right here underneath or on top of this packet. It doesn't matter either way because they're gonna match. So let's say they place it here. So then I place the cards on top. I sort of drop them, and the spectator can square up the deck. So now we know we have the 10 of clubs. So now you want to go ahead and actually take out your kings. So here's how you can do that if you don't want to do the call. You're going to start spreading through, and you're going to take out that first king right here, set it down. Now you're going to lift up the cards towards yourself like this, and you're going to go through and you're going to try to find that other king. And just act like you can't find it. Okay, but remember, the cards are going to be like this to yourself. You're going to be moving cards around and everything. Make it look like you're really looking for that card. So with the cards up, I go through and I'm going to see the 10 here. So I can cut that to the top. And because you're cutting and moving cards around, the spectator really isn't going to suspect anything. But you go through and you find that other king. So instead of bringing the whole block on top, I just put the one card on top. I leave these on the bottom. So now you have the 10 of clubs and the king of spades. And I can actually drop the king like that. So that is what you can do to substitute in the move. But now you have the 10 on top. So now you're going to go about the trick the same way. See, you're going to explain that you're going to try to get whatever the card is here from this packet, end up between these two kings for this packet. So I like to rub the cards over like this. I might give it a tap or two, and then I drop them on top. I'm going to spread off 3 cards, and I'm going to do the move again. So keep in mind you have the 2 kings on top and the 10. Okay, so if we did this with the cards face up, obviously you wouldn't, but here's what it would look like. You're going to take this top card and you're going to move it to the, well, in this case, it would be the top, but you know if it was reversed, it would be the bottom, okay? It would be face up. At the same time, you reverse spread these 2 cards. You take this king, you leave it here, and now you have the 10. I'll go over that one more time. So you can take one of the kings, you're going to turn it face up here, while reverse spreading these cards. Turn this face up, and now you are all set with 1 card. You can show the 10 of clubs, you spread out here, and you can show the 10 as well. So that was today's effect. I hope you really enjoyed this. If you didn't have a chance yet to enter the 300 subscriber shoutout, make sure you can while you still have time. At the time of this recording, I think I'm around 284 subscribers, so we're getting up there. So at 300, everyone that has entered, I will shout out. So if you want to enter, I will leave that video down below. I will also leave Sean's video, Sean's channel, if I can find the deck review of these 2 decks, and I will also leave the call down below, and then the 300 shoutout video. So if you're new here, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time with another daily upload. Bye.